Hi guys, welcome back to another tutorial for filmophone.cz. You are probably thinking I'm definitely get mad because I'm recording tutorial about how to create a 3D logo animation, and there are probably at least 1422 similar tutorials on the web, but anyway, I have some cool tips and tricks for you, so I hope that this 1423rd tutorial will be useful for you. So let's get started. Here we are in 3D Studio Max. As you can see, it's quite simple scene, and we have some simple geometry, which is these are just extruded shapes with some animation. They are animated, and as you can see, there are 3 lights, or actually 4 lights, and they are animated as well. Well, this is some direct spot or directional light, which is a main light with it casts shadows. Another light is directional as well, casts shadows as well, and the third one as well, and this is some skylight. Okay, so let's have a look at some materials. So hit M to reveal material editor. We are using this material for these two objects. It's metallic paint. I think it's some standard mental ray material. Metallic paint is this one. It's red, but I just changed this color and the flakes color, so it's white now. I have a camera which has some animation. Actually, the animation goes from frame 68 to 130. It's this animation. So actually, let's change our preview from 668 to 130. So here we are. This is our animation. This is camera point of view. So as you can see, this is our shot, and we will talk about this shot only in this tutorial. So let's play it. So as you can see, it's quite simple, and when we render it, sorry, I just need to change some settings for single, and I don't want to save render. So as I render it, you can see there is some reddish background, which is very important because our geometry can catch this color, and it's reflected on its surface, and we will use it later on in After Effects. So I use background of the same color. I think I will use in post-production. For me, it's better because I know I will use some red color. So this is our render. We have some settings in here, but I will not talk about them. Important thing is I'm using mental ray render, and the settings is so just enable final gather, and And that's all, I think. Yes. Well, usually I would render some passes, but in this case I will not use it, but I will save our animation. So let's go from 68 to 130 and save file, and we will use RPF format. I've already rendered it out, so we don't need to wait till it's rendered, but I will show you this RPF format. But when we have a look at setup, what is important, you can choose your bits per channel value, which I will use 16, must be enough. And what is important, we want Z depth included, and probably that's enough. Z depth in this case should be all right. Okay, and render it out. I will not do it because I've already done it. Okay, so any question? No? Okay, so we can go to After Effects. So here we are in After Effects, and let's import our footage, which is this one. And okay, so drop in here, change the bits per channel to 16. That's the same value as we were exporting it. And now, as you can see, we get this reddish reflection. That's what I was talking about. And we have this render, which is with alpha channel, of course. So as you can see, we have this reddish reflection. That's perfect. We will use it. So let's create some background layer, new, solid. Let's call it background, comp size, okay, and make it actually generate ramp, radial ramp, maybe something like this. Sorry. So, and we want it reddish. So this will be red. This will be dark red. Okay, we can change this later on. Something like this. Now we can see the edge. So probably we will use simple choker, which we can find in matte, and simple choker. We'll choke it a little bit. One is not enough, so 110. Great. Now we have nice background, nice animation, but the problem is we had the camera in max which were moving. As you can see, Maybe we can use top view. It goes back and to the right. Yeah. And it's panning and tilting at the same time. Now it's hard to see, but as you can see, so it's quite a difficult motion, and we need to simulate the same motion in here, but we used RPF format, and what we can do is right click on our footage, keyframe assistant, RPF camera import, and that's it. Now let's have a look at our camera, and as you can see, we have the same camera movement as we had in 3D Studio Max. So when we look closer, it has the same movement to the back, to the right, and the same panning and tilting. And now we can change our background to a 3D layer, which we definitely need to move somewhere over there. Rotate it and scale it up. And place it where we want it to be, and now we have, so it's not enough, we need to scale it more probably. Yes. Even more, and now it should be okay. Okay, so now we have our background moving with our animation. And what next? Would like to have a nice depth of field. So let's create our Z depth, and again let's duplicate our footage, rename it as, let's say, Z depth, and go to 3D channel extract Z depth. That's exactly what we want. White point set to 0, and now change the black point, which should be something like this. Maybe we can try it. Okay, let's leave it like this and pre-compose it. Layer, pre-compose, move all attributes, Z depth, pre-comp, and make it invisible. And now we just use Frischluft plugin, or you can use camera lens blur, which is probably similar effect but a little bit slower. I prefer Frischluft plugin, Frischluft depth of field. Choose our Z depth pre-comp, which is this layer. It can be invisible, and iris I like 7 facet and rounded facets 0. Well, and now we can just choose where our footage should be focused on. or what place should our footage should be focused on. So let's say, let's start in here, set this to 20, and let's animate it. Focal point, hit U to reveal our keyframes, go in here, select this place, and we'll just check. Yeah, it would be better not use gamma correction because of these edges. And still in here, and now we can get somewhere in here probably. I will hit F9 to have smooth keyframes, but I will check it in here, and maybe I will do it smoother in here. Let's preview it. Okay, looks good. And now, what next? Probably would be nice to have some particles. So layer, new, solid, call it particles, and hit OK. Trapcode, particular, and we can't see them because they are quite off the screen. We need to move it probably somewhere where the background is. So let's have a look where the background is. Hit P position and particles, emitter. Should use the same values or the similar values. So minus 1200 minus 460 and 1300. Okay, and now we can place it where we want it to be. Let's say somewhere in here. We don't want point but box with some high value, 4000, 4000 and 4000. Yes, something like this. We will move it under our footage. Velocity, let's say 5, and particle should be bigger. So, sorry, I'm changing the life because our composition is 2 seconds long. So let's say 5 seconds long, 5 seconds long. And another thing we need to change is the particles birth. So let's do, I don't know how much. So let's try 4000 and another keyframe, next frame, and set it to 0. So no other particles are being born during the animation. And now the particle size, so size a little bit bigger, not too big. Size random 50. Of course we need to change the color to something like so. Yes, and now we need to simulate the same focus pull. So let's use our camera, actually, first of all, hit you in here and set a marker number 1 and marker number 2. Now hit AA to reveal camera options, depth of field on, aperture focus distance. Okay, so I will go somewhere in here, and so this is quite far away, and these are close to our camera, so probably we can use this focus distance for this place when we are focusing very close to our camera, and some further one when we are focusing more to the distance. I will copy this keyframe and I will paste it in here, and again hit F9, and again let's have a look at our graph and make it similar to that one, to this one. Yes. Okay, and another thing we have to do, go back to camera options and change iris shape to heptagon, and roundness is 0. That's okay because of our Frischluft settings. We have 7, which is heptagon, and roundness 0. Okay, and now let's preview it and watch it if it works. Yes, I think it's working, but I will lower the opacity of the particles. Too much particles. We won't just have a touch of them to feel them. Okay, yeah, this is all right. Okay, what next? Probably we will add some vignetting. Layer new solid, let's call it vignette, and I will use something like this. Subtract mask feather, let's say 250, and lower the opacity, something like this, and new adjustment layer, curves and do some color correction, the final one. And probably would be nice to have some noise which will connect our render with this background. So go to noise and noise, and maybe 3 should be enough. As you can see now it's perfectly connected. Maybe less, 2. Yes, that's great. And maybe one last thing I would like to do is to add some flare, some optical flare in here. And maybe as I see I would change this curve. Just a little bit. Okay, so add some optical flare. So we will use Andrew Kramer's plugin called Optical Flares, which is great plugin. Optical Flares. Put it below the vignette. Video Copilot, Optical Flares. Options, clear all, yes, and we will use just this one. Probably change the color, or actually maybe it would be better to have pure white. And do it on black and set it to add. It's quite big, so scale it down, set 50, and we would like to move this optical flare on this edge. So let's say we will start at this moment. So move it there and hit keyframe and stop somewhere around here. I will just adjust the track. Yes, it should work. It's great. And now we will animate just the brightness. So brightness is 0 and 0, and somewhere in here should be, let's say, 50. F9. Control click to have this circle. And now let's have a look how it works. Well, yes, it's seems to be all right. There is one problem in here. It does not sit on the right place, so we have to move it a little bit down. Now it's okay, yes. Let's render this area and let's watch it again, and now it should be okay, yes. Okay. Okay, that's fine. The last thing I don't like is this smooth motion. So probably I will select all in here and say, let's say layer, precompose, move all attributes, let's call it final comp, and do some adjustments. For scale I will use 105, hit P, Shift R to have these parameters, and now let's say wiggle how many times? So 1 times per second. Move our footage. How much? How many? 10 pixels. Okay, 10 pixels. And rotation, wiggle 1, and let's say 0.5. Okay, let's render it. Oh, sorry. Yes, and it looks better to me. There is some slight irregularity in the movement. I will show you here. I will show you. As you can see, this is the movement. It's very slight, but it works. Okay, so I think that's it. So this was 1423rd tutorial for how to make 3D logo animation. Actually, I was asked to do this tutorial, so I hope at least one person will like it, and so leave me a comment if you want, and stay tuned for another tutorial. Take care.